All right. At any point in time, you can stop me to clarify something or get a little more detailed. All right. So just go ahead and stop me. All right. I'm starting at the top, checking the cargo box, making sure there's no damage to it. Checking the clearance lights on the cargo box. They are amber in color, and the lenses aren't cracked and they're not burned out. Checking the 5-cab clearance lights, making sure they're amber in color, lenses are cracked, and they are not burned out. Checking the antenna, making sure it's securely mounted to the cab. Checking my West Coast and convex mirrors, making sure they're securely mounted to the doors. Once I further approach the vehicle, I want to make sure they're not cracked or broken. Checking the windshield, looking for any illegal stickers or stars. Checking the seal around the windshield, make sure that it's not damaged, it's not missing. Once I approach the vehicle, I want to check the wiper blades, making sure I have adequate amount of rubber on the blade and tension on the wiper arms. Working my way down to the hood, looking for any fiberglass damage. I noticed there's a little bit in the front, but nothing that's going to fall off. My 4-way flashers, amber in color. They are flashing, they are functioning properly. Check my headlamps as well. At this point, I can go ahead and turn on my high beams, and I would check those as well. Checking the grill, looking for anything protruding through the grill, covering the grill, which means the vehicle possibly overheat. Checking the bumper for any damage, making sure my license plate is current and up to date with the registration and the paperwork in the truck. Looking underneath the vehicle, I want to check to make sure there's no puddles of oil or water, making sure there's no low-hanging wires or hoses. And then lastly, the profile of the vehicle, I want to make sure it's not leaning, which would indicate either a broken leaf spring or a shock absorber that might be leaking. So now I'm going to go and open it. Right, forgot about it. Alright, starting on this side. Now that I'm here, here's the wiper blade. Make sure I have adequate amount of rubber on it and the arm has tension. Across the hood here. Right here is my master, my master relay valve. Okay. So basically, I want to check all the fittings around it, make sure there's no leaks, air leaks around here. Working my way down across the top of the motor, checking for any leaks. All the way down here to my fan shroud. This is my fan shroud. Checking my fan shroud to make sure it's not cracked or broken. Also looking at my fan blades to make sure they're not cracked, broken, or missing. And this is my radiator support bar to make sure it's securely mounted to my radiator and there's no leaks to my radiator. Right here is my intake. Checking the clamps to my intake to make sure they're secure and not leaking. Right here is where I check my oil. I checked it earlier. Down here is where I check my power steering reservoir. It has a high and a low level, and it is in an adequate range for proper level on the power steering fluid. This is my fuel water separator. Make sure it's not leaking. Looks good. Securely mounted. And that leads me now to my air compressor, which is buried way back in here. Follow this metal piece. That's my air compressor back in there. You see it? Okay, and it is gear driven. There are 5 elements on this truck that you have to tell them are gear or belt driven. This is one of them, gear. All right.
So the compressor is not belt driven?
The air compressor is not belt driven.
Oh, okay.
It is gear driven.
Okay.
The other element that is gear driven, which is behind the compressor, you can't see it, is the power steering pump. The reason why you want a power steering pump that is gear driven on these trucks, imagine if you lose a belt trying to turning those wheels and controlling the truck, it ain't gonna happen. So as long as the truck's running, you will have control of the truck. All right. Now that leads me to the steering shaft, the steering components. So I'm checking the steering shaft. to make sure there's no excessive play in the steering shaft. No more than 2 inches on a 20-inch steering wheel. Up at the top, see how I'm moving it? Up there?
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And it's connected to my steering box with no leaks. Steering box is connected to my pitman arm. My pitman arm is connected to my drag link. And it's connected with a castle, looks like a castle nut, and a cotter pin. And on the back side, if you want to look over my shoulder here, you got another one. Okay, a castle nut and a cotter pin connected to my upper steering arm. Now I'm out here on my air brake line and my ABS wire. I want to make sure I have no leaks on the air line and no chafing on the wire, which is connected to my...
Governor? No. The brake chamber.
Very good, brake chamber. Yep, service brake chamber. Remember, there's 2 of them. There's a service and a spring. Only service on the front. Service and spring, if you look back there, are the big ones. So on this service brake chamber, I can pull what's known as a slack adjuster right here. So I'm going to grab it right here behind it and pull this way. And I should have no more than 1 inch play. Okay. And this right here that goes around the slack adjuster is called the clevis. And this is known as the clevis pin. So you want to make sure you have a clevis and a clevis pin securing it to the slack adjuster. Okay, back there you got your shock absorber. So you want to check your shock mounts at the top and the bottom. And in the shock where